JSON documents are JavaScript object notation, which is a way of describing key value pairs in a document, and it's used all over the place in software engineering. So in this video, I'm going to show you what JSON documents are, how to read them, how to write them, how to interpret them, and yeah, let's go do that. For reference, I'm going to use the same YAML document that I did to describe our burger shop in the YAML video. By the way, if you're curious about YAML, want to learn more about it, be sure and check out that video. I'll link it right up there. And let's just start with this. So all JSON documents start with a set of curly braces, all right? And then we define our key value pairs in there. So for example, we've got in our burger shop, we always get the customer's name. And so we'll record it just like that. Now look at the difference here between this and YAML. I quoted my keys and my values here. In YAML, I didn't really have to. About the only time you have to do that in YAML is if you have some type of special character in your string here that could be interpreted as a special character like stars or backticks or question marks, different things like that, because sometimes your YAML documents get parsed by shell interpreters such as bash or ZSH, and if you have those special characters in there, it could tell the interpreter that it's time to do something instead of just treating it as a string of text. And now that I say all of that, that probably should have gone in the YAML video, but oh well, too late. So we've got our customer's name here, and then the next thing we have is whether or not they have paid, and we're going to put true in here. Now notice that true is not in quotes because true is a JavaScript reserved word referring to the Boolean value of true or false. And next we're going to move over to our order. So this is where we track our customer's order. And now check this out. In our YAML document, we had the little dash here to tell us that that was a list or an array. Well, the correct syntax in JSON notation is to do a set of square brackets. And now we've got a list of items in there. So let me show you how we originally did this in the YAML video. So at first we just had a hamburger, and then we had fries that went with that, and then we had ice cream because John got his swole on at the gym this morning and earned the extra calories. And so now this is just a list of string values, right? And you can see, just like I showed you in the other video, JetBrains is kind of laying it out here for us. We have our order object. Item 0 is the hamburger. Item 1 is the fries. Item 2 is the ice cream. And if we were referring to this in code, if we were reading in this document, we could do something like, if our document here was called orders, we would say orders.order, referring to this order value here. And then we would want item 0, which would refer to item 0 in the list or the array here, which is our hamburger. So let's get rid of that. And now one of the things we did from there is we decided that we wanted to extend this or add some additional fields to this. So now we're going to create an object in there. So we'll add that. We'll add a set of curly braces there to show that it's an object. And then we'll put that it's a hamburger, and John wanted the Belly Buster hamburger. Notice that I'm putting commas at the end of each of these as well. And then we got some add-ons. You know, one of the things, if I were doing this, one of the things I would do in YAML type syntax, it's pretty common to do the dashes here, but JSON objects are JavaScript, so I'd probably follow the JavaScript notation there of doing the camel case thing. So we've got our add-ons, and that's going to be an array or a list. So we would have onions in here, and then we have pickles on it, followed by tomatoes. Actually, maybe not followed. I guess you could do this in any order. And then mustard, except the mustard. Mustard's got to go last. We're not heathens here. And then we've got our next object in there, which is our temperature. And we're going to do that as well done. And then the final piece of data we need on John's burger is the type of bun that he wants, and he wants the sesame seed bun, right? So now we've got our fully formed JSON document here, and we can refer to all of the keys in here to get their value. And that's kind of the big power of this, whether you're talking about JSON or YAML, is it's just a way to describe something and get the value for it. So what type of order did John have? Well, this is his order right here. He had 3 things. He had a hamburger object, which has add-on properties to it with a temperature of well done. He also had fries, no additional info needed. You just give him fries. Same thing with ice cream. At our burger shop, you don't get a choice of ice cream flavors. You just get ice cream. And now that's our complete document. This is our complete JSON object. But then we get our next order coming in, right? And so we'll put a comma in there because that tells the JSON interpreter we're doing a new object. And then we'll start with a set of curly braces here. And we'll do name. This time it was Susie and her order. And then we got whether or not she's paid, and paid is false. Again, we don't have to quote that because that is a JavaScript reserved word. But I've got a little error right here because this whole thing needs to be, in order to have multiple items in our array, it needs to be a list. So we'll put that into a set of square brackets, and now the interpreter is all happy. And that's kind of the high-level overview of JSON. Now you can use pretty much JSON or YAML, either or. Almost everything that accepts YAML as an input will also accept JSON and vice versa. One of the key differences between the two, though, is a lot of times you'll see JSON used for communicating between different services or microservices. For example, we could take our order from our hamburger shop there and then put that out onto a message queue that, I don't know, it triggers our 3D printer to print the burger or whatever. I don't know, I'm just making something up here. So you'll see that done a lot, but you'll see that done with JSON and not YAML. And part of that is because of the stricter syntax of JSON. You know, we've got the curly braces and the quotes where one field ends and the next field begins. But with YAML, those same characteristics are just defined by white space, right? So whenever you serialize that and put it out on the wire, it gets really messy and really hard to transmit that between services because you're reliant on the white space between the different fields in there. So for that reason, you see JSON used for communication between servers, and YAML not so much. It's pretty much just used for configuration type documents. So there you go. I hope that was helpful for you. If it was, give me a thumbs up, please. If you didn't like it, give me a thumbs down, and I will see you in the next video.